friends, this is Laura with Potpourri of Life. Today I want to talk to you about an herb that I've always used as an essential oil, and it's called Spikenard. I used to call it Spikenard, but the more I learned about it, it's called Spikenard. It's S-P-I-K-E-N-A-R-D. And it's an awesome herb for relaxing, helping with the lungs and your heart and all that. And the reason I've used it as an essential oil, my husband and I wouldn't use it in some massage oils because we give each other massages, and in doing so it helps to relax our bodies. It also is good for your heart to calm things down and bring things into balance. So I've been using it for maybe 12 years as an essential oil in a massage. Well, recently I have been looking for something that would help with my husband's allergies and my allergies. It seems like they're getting irritated a little bit more, and I noticed that even I had to go on an antibiotic for something, and it caused a lot of lung issues, and I realized that something's not right. It's not just the antibiotic, it's something else, because it's made it, even after being off it, I'm still having issues. And sure, it can be part of the side effect, but when you have allergies, it does affect your lungs, you know, most especially if you have breathing allergies and people who have to go on things like asthma medicine. And one of the things that we're trying to do is to get off all those medications. My husband is on one that he's on like on Advair, and he has to take that once a day. And then he has a rescue inhaler, and he's been using his rescue inhaler a little bit more than the doctor had recommended. I have a rescue inhaler, and I use it maybe twice a year, except when I went on that antibiotic. But you know what? You need one thing for one thing, and then you want to keep everything else going right. So what I'm trying to do is figure out a way that can help with our asthma issues. And we're not the only ones in this world that have asthma. Many, many people do. So I did a little research. Now, I've shared with you Spikenard is something that I've used as an essential oil. I put that with frankincense and sometimes lavender. I switch it up. We make up a small 4-ounce bottle, and when that's gone, we make up a new one. And what we do is we rub that massage oil into the other person's shoulders, into their back, or anywhere where there's a lot of stressful pain areas. So that's what I use that for. And so when I was doing some research and stuff, I'm thinking, I read up on Spikenard. See, I'm going to still say Spikenard because that's what I've always said. It's Spikenard. So I wanted to share some really cool and fascinating stuff with you. And the reason I wanted to share with you, yesterday I had shared that I had ordered some herbs that I don't grow here. Spikenard is one of them. And I just started growing elderberry, and I ordered that like a year and a half ago, and that's coming along. Out of the 6 plants, I've got 4 that are doing okay. In my research, I discovered that Spikenard grows very much similar to elderberry in that it makes flowers and berries, and you can use the root for much. And so what I have here, in the order I got from my herbs that I got, one of the items was Spikenard. I'm going to say Spikenard. Spikenard root. It's cut and sifted, and it's grown here in the United States. And the source for this was from, let's see, Legacy Botanicals. I found her on Etsy. And normally I order through another source, but I didn't because they didn't have any in stock. And I'm really hopeful that this helps, because it really bothers me that I have a rescue inhaler, but you know what? I only use it a few times a year. It bothers me. My husband needs it so much, and some of the chemicals at his work can cause that. So this is what it looks like, and this is all ground. This is the root that is ground. You can make things with the berries and the flowers similar to that of elderberries. They have used this in making root beer. They have used it in a variety of things, but I want to share with you some of the things that I found. So it is indigenous to Eastern North America. So I'm going to go out foraging because I'm in Eastern North America, so why not go and see if I can find some of this stuff. It grows in moist and shaded habitats and features umbrellas of small white flowers in the spring and bright purple berries in early autumn. Oh, this would be so cool. Very similar to elderberries. Spikenard, I'm going to say spikenard, so forgive me if I'm saying this wrong. Spikenard was an important herb for many Native Americans who utilized all parts of the plant either as food or in traditional herbal preparations for its healthful qualities. And it's a member of the ginseng family, and many people love to have ginseng in their medical arsenal. I don't really have any ginseng in the house right now. It's something that I'm going to get, but it's not something that is urgent to me right now. Let's see. It's aromatic, and it was historically enjoyed as root beer. And when I smell this, I'm not sure I really smell the root beer in it, but it has a nice scent to it. It's not earthy like some of the green herbs that I use. This root can be infused as a tea. It can be employed as a tonic herb, and it can be made into an extract or utilized topically. So I'm not going to use this topically. Well, I might. I might put it in an ointment that I might use for pain relief for people who have allergies, like my husband and I. Put it on like the chest, like you would some of the blue stuff. I can't think of the name of it. But anyways, use it for that. I haven't experimented with it, so I haven't done it yet. But my plan is, because of us both having some lung issues and stuff, and the longer you are on medications for asthma and stuff, your lungs aren't healing on their own. You're using a medicine to make it better. This, from my research, is going to be very, very beneficial and healing. Let's see. The Old Testament is one of the ingredients in the incense burned in the Holy Temple of Jerusalem. And the powdered root is cited in some Islamic tradition as the forbidden fruit that Adam ate in the Garden of Eden against God's wishes. I've known it to be the apple, so I was kind of hesitant about sharing that. But in Islamic cultures, that's what they believe. In medieval Europe, spikenard was part of the spice blend used in Hippocras, a sweetened wine drink. And I can see that happening if you take those berries, a deep purple, and even the branches of this herb is a deep purple. So I can see this being used as wine. And if I get this plant, I really, truly, truly want to get some seeds and grow this. And what I learned was it grows from seed. And because of the berries, that's the seed that it produces, you can grow it from that. So now I just need to find some seeds. Also, it is not root bearing like a lot of herbs. It's grown through the roots, and it keeps growing and spreading. But not this. You grow this by seed. So it's native to eastern United States, as well as the mountains of northern India, China, and Japan. Spikenard is a fragrant plant with a pungent root. The root has long been used medicinally by Native Americans. It has a complex, spicy, earthy aroma, which is said to repel fleas. And so in some areas, they might consider it as fleabane. They might name it that. And there's a lot of different flowers out there that's called fleabane. So, the reason is it repels fleas. It has a mild, pleasant licorice-like flavor. I smelled it. I think when I make a tincture or anything like that, that root beer might come out. Now, if that root beer flavor is there, my husband might not like it because he's not a root beer loving person. I love root beer. But I'm looking forward to doing this and seeing how it turns out. And it is often used as a substitute when making sarsaparilla. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else. And I'm trying to get to some other important things because I'm really excited. And it is used, and the Egyptians use it in perfume in biblical texts. In the book of Song of Solomon's, this is something that was used in it. But it's mostly used in perfumes and stuff. And to be honest with you, I make perfumes using essential oils. Spikenard is one of them. And what I do is I have a combination. I have a carrier oil, and then I add in the particular essential oils that I enjoy, and I make myself my own perfume. And every time I wear it, my husband knows that I have it on, and he is drawn to me. So, that's the kind of perfume you want to wear, ladies or men, that you want to wear something that attracts your mate, something that attracts others to you. And I find that Spikenard, along with the other essential oils I use, they're very calming. And that's the way I like to be. And it actually affects your brain. All right. Spikenard has a strong systemic relaxant and cooling ability to treat intense and hot condition. What does that mean? Okay, so the herbs attract 3 major nerve plexuses: your cardiac, the solar, and sacral. Spikenard can relax the brain and cardiovascular system, acting as a strong hypnotic cerebral sedative and a cardiovascular relaxant. Now, when I use Spikenard essential oil, it doesn't put me to sleep. It does relax me, most especially when I use it in essential oils in a massage oil. It can be used for inflammatory conditions, pulling the excess heat out of the head and upper body. Now, your whole chest area and your head, this is where the respiratory stuff comes from. So that's what they're talking about in the upper body and head area. Can also be used as a hair restorative, both to prevent graying and alopecia. So I know there for a time I was using natural stuff, and because as I get older, your hormones are changing, so you're using a hormone replacement. And even though it was compound, there was other things I was using. It just seemed like my hair just was getting thinner and thinner. So I stopped it, and it seems like it's coming back. So when I was reading this, I'm thinking, I'll consider this too. So, and I'll share some things of what my plans are in using the spikenard root. Let's see, the sun-dried roots were soaked in Ayurveda medicine. The sun-dried roots are soaked in ghee and then smoked to relieve asthma. Now, will I do that for my husband? I'm not too sure, because neither one of us likes a lot of smoke. I mean, we're fine with campfires and stuff. But one thing that I could do and potentially try to do when we kind of have a little bit of fire is throw a little bit of the root in there and see if it kind of clears our senses. Or I can burn it in the house in a some people burn incense. I would probably burn it like an incense and see if it does the same thing. I will let you know on that. The nice thing about this, and I believe this to be true because of my response to the essential oil, is the sweet, woody root aroma can help facilitate a grounding and centering effect on the body and mind. It's very calming. It can aid in cognitive flexibility, so it could help repattern constant thoughts of worry, anxiety, and repetitive thinking, allowing the release of old wounds. And the wounds that they're talking about are emotional wounds. And sometimes that's what we need. We kind of like dwell on the past. We can't get rid of it. So either find some spikenard essential oil, and that might help. I prefer, you can actually burn essential oil in like the little essential oil containers. And what I do is I put a little water in it and a few drops, put a little tea light under it, and I burn it that way. Hold on, I'll get one. So this here is what I use in burning essential oils. I fill the bowl with water to just like maybe an 1/8 of an inch short. And then I put 5 to 8 drops of the essential oils that I want to use. For something like this, I would sometimes use lavender and something else. There's different things, but like for spikenard, this is something that my husband really likes. So I might try this tonight to see when he gets home, to see if this is kind of relaxing for him. I know for me, I love it. And he can usually tell when I'm burning this. Now, this is when I'm going to be putting essential oil in it. When you get one of these devices, don't use one that gets hot. And those are the ones that are like porcelain. I don't recommend those. This is more of a clay type one. This does much better. It doesn't get hot and make you feel like it's, you need to be able to grab it comfortably. It will get hot, but it doesn't get as hot as those porcelain ones that are kind of chintzy. So please don't use those. Use something that's strong and solid. So you put that in there, put a tea light in there. You can do the 4-hour or 6-hour tea light, and it goes for a long time, and the aroma gets through your house, and it gives it a very calm and relaxing scent. I've used different essential oils depending on what I'm trying to achieve. So, but spikenard, lavender, lang lang, that's another one. I do combine lang lang and spikenard a lot because I love those two scents, but the 3 of them are ones that I've used. Those are the first 3 essential oils I've used, but we're talking about the root. So what if I wanted to burn the root? You can still do that, like in in a bowl that can handle the burning of some herbs and stuff, and just light it like you would do like like sage sticks and stuff, and just let it burn and it will do its thing. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing some other things with it. But you can do that and it would still bring out the scent. And like I said, if you have a wood stove, or if you have a fireplace, or you're outside and you're burning wood, like I might throw some of this in our rocket stove and see how that goes. And just to kind of see how I'm going to experiment, and I will get back to you on that. But it is something that you can do. Now, because it can bring out your attention in terms of the emotional aspect, a lot of us are dealing with a lot of stuff. Some of us have history from our childhood or from past relationships that they stay with us. And even though you can have therapy all you want, healed according to them, you can still have triggers that bring out those emotions. And so sometimes what the best thing to do is find something that relaxes your sensations. And I do find that spikenard does that for me. I'm hoping it does for you if you haven't already tried it. So during times of both inward and outward transformation, spikenard can be a stabilizing agent. The dual abilities of grounding and releasing, the oil can provide a sense of support through life's various transitions. Now, I have something more exciting to share. The main reason that I bought the spikenard root, and I'd been looking for it, and like I said, my original source for herbs didn't have any in stock. I put it out there. I want to know when you get it in. Is because when I read up about it on the asthma benefits, I'm like, this might help my husband. So I'm going to be making some tinctures. I'm going to be making some other things to see if they might help my husband. I might even put this into a tea for him to try. And one thing that we have to remind ourselves when we're using herbs and stuff, just like any medicine that you might be asked to take, like a doctor won't give you a one-time antibiotic, but it'll be 3, 5, or 7 days, because you need to be on it for a time for it to have the effect. The same thing happened with my Lyme treatment. And I had to be on antibiotics all the time, and I hated it. I hated the side effects. Oftentimes I would go off. And, my Lyme specialist, he didn't get frustrated with me. He understood, because I told him, I said, I feel worse on it than I do with just dealing with the Lyme symptoms. So this is something I learned today, and I'm so excited. So if you are a Lymey, also known as a Lyme patient, this might be encouraging. So let me share with you. Because it is a lung restorative herb, many of us with Lyme disease, you can have these kind of things that are affecting your lungs, and some of the medications we take can affect our lungs. So it is a remedy. Spikenard is a remedy for healing and soothing the lungs after a long bout of lung infection or lung abuse. So if people with a history of emphysema, chronic asthma, long-term cigarette smokers, firefighters, especially forest firefighters, people who have been exposed to chemical vapors, people who have impaired lung function, which has left them with worn out and tired lungs, they can all benefit greatly from this lung adaptation. adaptogen. I think that's how you say it. And when I've read all this, and this part I read today, I'm like, oh, I am so hopeful that God's gift to earth through this herb is the answer that both my husband and I are looking for. But it also helps Lyme patients. So what it also says, not only is it restorative to lung tissue, but almost all mucous membranes in the body are helped and strengthened by its use. It's a relative to ginseng. Spikenard is considered an adaptogen plant medicine. Let's see. The Webster Dictionary says that adaptogen is a non-toxic substance, especially a plant extract that is held to increase the body's ability to resist the damaging effects of stress and promote and restore normal psychological functioning. This is good for anybody. And even though it's on a Lyme journal that I found today, why didn't I find this sooner? I don't know. It can help anybody. And it could probably help those with long-term chronic other issues. And I can't really say, I'm not a physician. You guys know this. And I cannot treat people. I can say what I'm learning, and you can take this information and do a little research yourself to see, like, would this work for what you're doing? Now, it is used as an alternate. It's anti-inflammatory for delicate tissues. It's good for coughs, chest colds, and is antibacterial. Now, what's really nice about that, the infections I get are needing antibiotics. So I'm kind of hoping it does a dual purpose, because I am so tired of going on the antibiotic for something. You know what else is really cool? You can combine this with another root, osha root, and I don't have any. I did order some, but it's not in stock, like I said. But spikenard root, you can make a honey. You know how you make the garlic honey? I've shown you before how to make garlic infused honey. You can do that with this. And but there's a process of doing it. And what I would do, from what I'm learning, is I would combine it. Like if I was going to make a tea, I would say I'm going to have a chamomile tea before I go to bed using regular chamomile. And I have some in the window over here that, excuse me, yeah, chamomile. I love chamomile, and I love using it fresh. So tonight what I might do is I might take some chamomile, make a tea, and then after, because I'm going to be making a tincture today, and I'm going to do a heat infused one for today, just a small batch, because I want to make one that just sits in the dark for 4 to 6 weeks. But I'm going to make a heat infused one so that I can get the benefits of this starting tonight. But to make a chamomile tea with a little bit of this and honey, because you take this, the tincture part, and you put it into your honey a little bit and you mix it up. And I believe what I read is it's 1 to 1, the ratio. Let's see. In more serious infections like Lyme disease, spikenard can help your tissue from becoming so stressed and inflamed. It can most certainly restore tissue health to a pre-infectious state, and is useful for helping the body's tissue recover from an illness like a bacterial infection, which has gone on for many, many years. And one of the things that I get an antibiotic for is for an infection that's been going on for years and years and years. You get it fixed, and it comes back and forth. So is this the answer for that? I don't know. But you know what? When God gives you something, it's worth trying. And like with all medicine, herb also, and I think I just shared this a little bit ago, is that you have to stay on course. Like I might have this tea for 1 to 2 weeks and see if it helps. If so, then I have something that I can grow. I'm going to get some seeds and I'm going to grow my own spikenard, and I'm going to be able to make my own set of herbal tea blends, which I can certainly share with others and sell and so forth. But right now I have to try this. I don't feel it is appropriate for me to give away or sell unless I know that it works. And the comfrey ointment that I made, oh, I have been getting such rave reviews. It's awesome. And I'm glad that it's helping people. And there's another ointment that I'll be making too that will actually help with those with osteoporosis. I'm just so excited of the things that I'm learning. But anyways, let me get back to this. People with a long history of asthma will find that this plant medicine over a long period of time can bring up their lung health considerably. When getting asthmatic clients off their inhalers, Spikenard is essential on their journey and will improve an asthmatic condition considerably. Won't it be great if I can get my husband's asthma under control? He has to be obedient in terms of taking this because he has a follow-up with his physician in a few months. I would love for him to go back and say, I haven't needed it, and this is what I'm doing. And his physician is very open to herbs and stuff. And so it would be really, really cool. Let's see. Spikenard has played a role in many other types of problems like upper and lower GI problems, irritable bowel syndrome, diverticulitis, Epstein-Barr virus. That's another thing that I tested positive for, and we had a hard time getting rid of it. Chronic fatigue, that's another symptom. Chronic dehydration of delicate tissues. It's used in allergy formulas, and essentially anytime you want to improve upper and lower respiratory function. This is a small glimpse of one amazing plant that can be used for an acute problems as well as an adaptogen or strengthening plant medicine. The cool thing about this, it's not addictive because you have to be intentional in terms of being able to use this. But I have to put a disclaimer out there. Just because this shows promise, you don't want to overconsume on this or any herb. Herbs can be very strong and they can be very ineffective if you overconsume. So be very, very careful if you choose to try this. Now I'm going to be making some tea, so if you decide that, hey, I don't want to buy a bunch of it, do you have access to where I can purchase some? Just send me a private message on that. If you have used Spikenard in any manner like this, write it in the comments because I would love to know your experience. Because this is a new one. I'm going to be working on it today. I'm going to be making the tincture. And like I said, I'm going to make a heat infused one, which I don't generally like to do because I like my herbs to infuse for a long term. So I'm going to make maybe about 2 ounces of the herb. And then the rest is going to infuse like I do with my vanilla and all the other herbs. I'm excited about it because I think it's the thing that my husband and I both need for lung health. Now, I just wanted to share that with you. And friends, if you haven't already subscribed, I hope that you do. Please just hit that like button and the thumbs up and share comments and share with others. Now, my channel is about my herbs, about what I'm learning and what I use. You know that those of you who've been following for a little bit, you understand that I have a Frugal Friday now. And I love it because it's just sharing some things that I do that saves us money. But I also find that using herbs does save us money. It's costly at first because, first of all, I'm trying to grow a bunch. Before I started growing, I would try some that I purchase, and then I just keep expanding my apothecary of herbs so that I can work with them. And for those also who have been following, you know that we've been dealing with an estate thing. It's getting closer to being done, and we are so grateful. With that in mind, I'm getting more back into my studies, and it's just so invigorating. Now, this did not come from my studies. This came from something else because I was trying to find an answer to something. And when you're looking on the internet, make sure you don't go to one source. And I do believe that no matter what I share with you today or tomorrow or any time that you're following me, make sure you do a little research on your own. Because in doing so, it confirms what you're finding out from me. It's the right thing for you. Another thing to be sure of, make sure you don't have allergies. Like say you're allergic to ginseng, this might not be appropriate for you. Those are the things you have to keep in mind. And they do it in medicine too when they're prescribing you medications, because if you're allergic to one thing, they kind of have to think, okay, if they're allergic to that, why maybe they can use something else. And that's just part of taking care of ourselves. That's what medicine is about, is finding the right mix for your body to heal and to stay well. I am so hopeful that this was informative to you. I know I'm really excited about it, so I'll be busy this afternoon. I have some more comfrey ointment that I want to make today. So I won't keep you watching me, but I just want to say that I hope that you are staying well. You're finding ways to improve your own health. But more importantly, I hope that you are finding time to give praise to God and being able to fulfill your days with joy. I find that the more joy we have in our lives, these things that keep popping at us makes it a lot easier to deal with. Folks, have a wonderful day, and may God bless you.